Yes, indeed we are. Yes, indeed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the OneRing.net's Torn Tuesday, live from Scum and Villainy Cantina. I am one of your hosts for tonight, Chelsea Schwartz, and with me, as always,
It is lovely to be here with you. It's Clifford Broadway with Chelsea Schwartz. Oh
no
my
way,
gosh.
guys, it's Cliff Broadway.
No, gosh, look, wait. This is Chelsea. Wait a minute.
What?
Here we are at Torn Tuesday, the weekly dose of hobbity goodness that you've been waiting for. Welcome to the live show, and for the listeners who follow afterwards, welcome to our podcast. It is so good to be here from Scum and Villainy Cantina.
It's awesome. I just have to
Cantina.
be very rude and retweet and share so that people tune in and watch us real quick. So I'm here, guys, but I'm being rude on my cell phone for like
That's
one
I
moment.
I am too, but that's okay. Life finds a way when you're doing Life 2.0 and 1.0 at the same time.
Life finds a way. I think that's the wrong fandom.
Maybe the irony is that the show
Jurassic
opens.
Park, anyone?
The show opens, and here we are, and both of us are sitting here going do while we're talking to you, and we're on our phones at the same time. Is that not symptomatic of the new world we are living in? It's true. And how about that? I thought the irony was delicious.
So,
but
Cliff, I wasn't
there's-
here last week. What did I miss?
Well, we had a conversation about Mr. Napster and Facebook guy taking a huge amount of money and throwing it at Weta. Weta Workshop now has had an infusion of like lots and lots and lots of money, and Peter Jackson made this dual announcement with Sean, I can't remember his last name for the quick, Parker, thank you. It was Mr. Parker, who was played by Justin Timberlake in the film
The Social Network.
The
Yes.
Social Network, which was directed by David Fincher. Intriguingly, here is a recap of that real quick. It seems that there's a direct dividend chain of connection that Sean Parker is a big Lord of the Rings fan, big time, and wanted to get into business with Peter Jackson. And Weta Workshop, not Weta Digital, but it is the Weta Workshop that has this new infusion and now he's a partner in the business, evidently. So that means that in the future, when the workshop is doing work on the Amazon series, tangentially, now Sean Parker gets to be involved because he's that kind of. These fans are gathering around the franchise in a unique way. Some of us are trying to get auditions. Some of us are trying to get into the writing department. The others are down there in New Zealand
I've
trying to
definitely
get
gotten
in.
plenty of messages from people that want both of
Yeah.
those things.
The people want to get on the craftsmen's and craftswomen's work, doing carpentry, building, plaster. They want to get in those jobs. And
I just want to visit set one
Yeah,
day.
I
That's
wanna-
all I want.
of
It's a simple
course.
request.
of course, well, so does Sean Parker. But his way of getting around to it is buying into the company that does the armor and the designs.
Yeah, but you know,
and the
I
creature
don't
designs.
have the funding to buy
I
into the
know.
company, Cliff.
That's so, nerddom finds its own ways.
Yes, it does. It does.
Nerddom, geekdom, ultimate geekdom.
Thank you
So-
to everybody that's in the chat room saying hello already. We see you, and hi back to everybody. I'm sorry I missed you guys last week. My commercial shoot went really well. I also will not be here next week because next week is what, Cliff?
Next week, we have a very, very, very big and special event. It's our biggest public event of the year.
But next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Why won't I be here next
Oh,
Tuesday?
that's because it's your birthday.
Yes,
Which
it's
is
my
tied,
birthday.
tied into the ultimate. There's a triple whammy of birthdays all in a row.
Oh yes, then we've got
Maybe it's
Bilbo
quadruple.
and Frodo
Bilbo
and mine
Frodo, and,
because I am a hobbit. It just confirms it right there.
and Sala Baker.
There's that as well. And
the
today
Dark
is
Lord,
Bruce Spence's birthday. So in this week we have lots of
Oh
birthdays.
my gosh! All of these late September birthdays. Bruce Spence, who played the Mouth of Sauron, Sala, who played Sauron himself. Oh my God, that's funny. Never thought of that before. Welcome everybody in the chat room.
Are you trying to say that I'm Sauron in some way? Is this
No,
where
yeah, all the nefarious
kidding.
evil people are no, but Bilbo and Frodo are the good guys. They were
It's
born
true.
September 22nd.
they do get tempted, but they're good.
Right, you've got some big events planned for your birthday. And-
I just have a big event here at Scum and Villainy Cantina on Monday night. It's our normal board game night, which all of you have heard me talk about. But the theme for my birthday this year is Spaceballs because may the Schwartz be with you.
I love Spaceballs so much.
So do I. I love
Do you know,
Mel
I often, as a wedding officiant, I do get asked to do the short version.
Oh my God, so good.
I get
Do you? Great, you're married.
great. Yeah, that's it. You're married. They want that joke thrown in all the time. Like these couples ask me to do a straight-faced, straight-up wedding, and then crack the joke at the end and do the Spaceballs version. It's so funny.
So good. I love it.
We have a multitude of people from around the world joining us from all over the country, all over the world. They're live with us on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter Live, and your mama and your daddy and your no panty granny. All of these streaming, everybody talking with us and all the hello. We can see you all combined in one full window.
Because we're all in this together.
And
High School Musical, anyone?
There's a unique icon that tells us what platform the person is on. So I can say hello YouTube chat and hello Facebook Live. It's nice to have you guys here. That was the news last week. Sean Parker dipping his toes into Middle Earth and not doing it like...
And clearly you guys must have discussed the casting notice from last week as well.
Oh, yeah. We talked about Will Poulter. I'm telling you what, we talked a little bit about these fun things. It's intriguing that Justin wanted to take a deep dive into the lore of Elrond and his twin brother, Elros. One of these two boys had the chance to choose to be a man or an elf, and he chose to be a man. And he became the first king of Numenor. And he was Elrond's brother.
All right.
So they were wondering about Will Poulter being cast as Elrond, half-elven, because of the whole way he looks. And they put the picture side by side of him in a meme last week, and you can't tell which half is Hugo Weaving, the other half is Will Poulter, the young actor who played Eustace.
I'm down for it. I'm down. I'm here for it.
In Voyage of the Dawn Shredder, in the Chronicles of Narnia, he played the cousin of the Pevensie children. He played Eustace, Crab, who gets turned into a dragon during the story, and then gets turned back to a human. It's really cool that he goes from the pages of Narnia and C.S. Lewis and steps right into Middle-earth with J.R.R. Tolkien. So, yeah, we talked a lot about Will Poulter as well.
Nice.
I'm encouraged by the level of surprise that Justin was raising his eyebrows last week, saying, gasp, I didn't know that there was a relationship between twin brothers Elrond and, before he founded Rivendell, his brother was going to be first king of Numenor. And I'm like, yeah, all that happened. That all happened. So we had
so much rich history for them to dive into.
Well, imagine that they cast the young actor to play both parts because they're twins. This could be like, Armie Hammer playing the Winklevoss twins in the same movie we're just talking about, The Social Network. So we're wondering about that. Twins playing twins.
Well, so we talked about those things. I guess we haven't really talked about the official confirmation, though, that we now have, that Amazon confirmed we are shooting in New Zealand.
Yep.
100% confirmed.
Yep.
I was like, and that they've hired all of the best people, and there's nobody left for anyone else to hire in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right. Like I was just saying, all those people down there trying to get all those jobs and get in there. And you know what they did? They tweeted a single emoji on the Twitter account for LOTR on Prime, which is Amazon's account. It was just a flag. Just the national flag of New Zealand. That's all it was. Yeah, so how about that?
It's lively here at Scum and Villainy
is
today.
lively.
We're actually gearing up. If you guys notice a kerfuffle, if you will, happening today. The 2-year anniversary of Fat Man Beyond is happening tonight, and we have some Academy Award winners coming into the bar tonight.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's going to be a big night here.
It's going to be a very big night, so there's so much going on, and they've done some technical improvements with the lighting and the cameras and the stuff that are set up here.
Well, the technical improvements won't happen until October 1st, but we're working on some really big changes for Scum and Villainy.
Yes. Oh, and that's also true. Arowana in the live chat says that Justin thought that it was weird and rather incestuous that Arwen, the daughter of Elrond, were distantly related. Because if you go back, Elrond's daughter is Arwen, but if you go back to many, many, many grandsires of Aragorn, many grandsires take him back to the Númenórean line. So it was all that, and I'm like,
well, I mean,
so funny.
If we want to go into a biblical sense of belief, then every single one of us is related to everyone, and that would hold true for every fantasy world we want to be part of.
Everyone's related to everyone. So that's how that works out.
In some very extreme, distant relation. Somebody's making mac and cheese right now. I'm very jealous. I want mac and cheese. Also, I saw a comment earlier that somebody, I forgot who it was, loves my shirt. Thank you very much. It's one of my favorite Marvel shirts.
I'm telling you, this is great, by the way. Yes. It's dark. And I've got my professional bowling shirt. This is the One Ring
I
bowling
love
shirt.
this shirt. It's such a good fit for you as well. What does it say? The tornadoes on the back?
We are the Torn. So it's our
torn
acronym for the One Ring net.
tornadoes.
Torn. The Tornadoes is our bowling team.
Nice.
The Tornadoes bowling team.
And what do you averagely bowl?
When I bowl? Oh, I'm a terrible bowler, but
mine's like 70. Like that's
Really?
horrible.
no, I can bowl 120, 140
Oh yeah,
if
you
I'm
got
lucky.
me beat. On my best day, I think I had like 90 as my top score. Like,
Really?
and
Oh my
that's like
God.
me bowling granny style.
Granny style. That's so cute. I can only imagine.
Well, you have to remember those bowling balls are like 8 or 9 pounds. That's like a good 10% of what I weigh.
Yeah, don't they have like the lighter version of those bowling pins?
The lightest one they have that I've seen at a bowling alley is a 7.
A 7 pound. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
But besides your amazing OneRing.net shirt and my Marvel shirt, did you check out the suspenders?
oh, hello.
My
Those,
Cheshire Cat suspenders.
those are Cheshire Cat. They look just like Cheshire Cat stripes. This is so cute.
we got all the fandoms going today.
We have a lot of fandom present, and here's the thing. I wanted to take notice of a sad note in the music world that lead singer-songwriter of the Cars, Rick Ocasek, passed away this week. Rick Ocasek passed away yesterday.
I did not
Was
hear
it day
about
before
that.
yesterday? Day before yesterday, yes. And the Cars, one of my favorite bands, and him being a super
Amazing
talented songwriter who had a really great career even after the dissolution of his band,
Yeah.
the Cars. His solo career is just amazing. And yeah, I was just gonna say rest in peace, Rick Ocasek, and thank you for the music, because I can't tell you how great the soundtrack of my teenage years was because of songs like Let Go, down, 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 down,
Yeah.
da 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 dum. I love the nightlife, baby. Do 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 do. That stuff was the best. And you know what? Those songs came out so one after another. These number one
Oh,
Billboard
yeah.
hits that they had. I can't tell you how sad it is to see, a great songwriter. Yeah. Bye, my love. And of course, the ultimate, who's gonna drive you home tonight? Do, 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 do. They were so awesome. And anyways, good stuff. And yeah, there you go. Thank you. We got a lot of love. A little love for Rick Ocasek and the Cars. Thank you for all the music, Mr. Ocasek.
But yes, so going back to
So
our
that was another bit of pop culture news that happened this past week.
we can go into all of that further when we get into our gossip at the end of this. Plenty of gossip at the Green Dragon today.
Plenty. No, the whole thing about filming in New Zealand is it is the big news. You're right. So what do we expect to see out of that? There will be the announcement of the government having worked out certain pay contracts or, certain laws that now are going to allow the workforce to work in a certain way and to represent themselves partially. They said that they were going to make concessions to the labor movement so that they could actually not be fully unionized, but they could represent themselves, these workers. So we're going to get news about the economics and the politics of this, as much as we get further news about what is starting up and people getting really down to the nitty-gritty of fabrication, building, plasterwork, carpentry, building sets and creatures, and designing costumes and weapons. Nitty-gritty stuff is going to come as well as the economic news. We're going to get production news. We can anticipate a wave of new stuff to come our way now that they're officially getting going, right?
Sean says, isn't them filming in New Zealand old news? It's officially confirmed now, but we've kind of known for a while. We've had spies on the ground. What we didn't know is the fact that they've already hired. They've done most of their hiring for the production. And from what we're hearing, they haven't given names, but they're saying that they've hired the best of the best. All of the best people in all of the fields you would need for the show have been hired, which means that the other productions we're hearing in New Zealand that want to film out there are scrambling to find people to work on their shows and their films.
Indeed.
Because everybody that's working for Amazon is doing an exclusive-based deal where they're only working on the show.
Now, this is something I've been wanting to ask them. This would be one of the questions I would want to pose to the studio is, how many New Zealanders are they hiring for their heads of department? And that means their visual effects supervisor, their head costume design, the production design. I mean, yeah, how many New Zealanders are there bringing in for heads of department, including extras, casting, and carpentry, all those departments? I'm wondering. And maybe soon, maybe sooner than later, we will be learning something from Amazon. But really, they're holding their cards so close to their vest. Really close. They're not really divulging anything. But we know that they're hiring locally, but I'd be very curious to know who are the folks actually running some of these things now. Like, looks like things are progressing. And so it is good news. It went from rumor stage, rumors that the papers said they had confirmed from various undisclosed sources, and now we're no longer at rumor stage. We have the studio themselves confirming it. So how about them apples? Now, here in the live chat, this is so exciting, says Dominique. I miss New Zealand so much. I do too. After my honeymoon, I felt the need to go back as much as possible. Yeah, me too. It's just an expensive ticket.
I still haven't been. I'm dying to go.
Yeah, it's like you got to save up for that airfare. But when you get down there,
it's also just I don't ever seem to have anybody that wants to go with me on these adventures, and like I feel like I need to experience the Shire with someone else that gets it.
Look no further.
Yes.
Look no further. We've got to go.
Let's go.
Oh my God, I'm so ready to go to.
All right, me and Cliff, we're gonna end the show right now. We're gonna head to New Zealand.
Yeah, we're off. We're off. Now the reason why this is noteworthy is because of how sparsely, or none at all, how sparsely we get confirmed information from the studio. That's why we're talking about it in these terms.
I have a feeling, though, that we're about to have an avalanche because the announcements are coming weekly now.
Yes,
and they have to start filming by the end of this year to keep their deal with the estate. So I think there's going to be a snowball, an avalanche. I think it's going to landslide of just information funneling through.
All right.
In like the next 30 to 45 days. That's what I think.
I'm thinking that too. I am. Because, well, I guess they didn't say a lot because they didn't have a lot to say. Right? But
or, you know, sometimes it's not worth speaking until absolutely necessary.
Well, then, you know, it's to the next level of questions, you know, casting. The next level of questions is probably going to be casting. Everyone's eyes are always on that question. Now,
I love it. Everybody in the chat room is volunteering to go to New Zealand with us as well. I was like, fantastic.
Yeah, we'll all go together.
Giant group vacation.
That sounds excellent.
I saw the news today. I'm thinking Lindsay Ellis. What does this mean for union actors?
We were just mentioning that. Because, like I just said, you may not have heard me, we have heard that the government of New Zealand is going to make allowances for the workers to partially represent themselves, even though it's not a fully unionized union, but they get to represent themselves and their interests in a collective way. But I wonder how far that will go, and we'll get further clarification of that. Because Justin is asking along the lines of how Lindsay Ellis was examining those questions in her YouTube video, looking at the effects of The Hobbit and The Hobbit on the labor force and the filmmakers unionizing in New Zealand. So, now, Sarah says, I wanted my brother to hide me in his suitcase when he visited. Yeah, I tell you what, if I had Hermione's bag of holding, I'd pack you all inside that little bag and take you with me to New Zealand.
Just get the cloak of invisibility and just go straight through the airport. No one will notice.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds amazing. Now, what do you think? It's time for us to do press. So we're going to start doing reporting. We're going to have to go down and do some reporting down in New Zealand.
Okay.
So we'll have a legitimate reason to go.
Great.
Maybe we'll
Who's funding the trip?
Whoever's going to send us there.
Okay, great.
Anybody want to send us there so we can go do some reporting and sleuthing?
Right.
Let's go
we
investigating.
could start like a GoFundMe, send Chelsea and Cliff to New Zealand so we can go do some reporting or some touring live from New Zealand.
Well, do you know what? That would be awesome if Amazon invited us.
Oh, I would love that.
If they did like a secret structured set visit, and the folks from Torn Tuesday could do a little behind the scenes, but it could be like a completely controlled area where we couldn't see anything that you didn't want us to see. You could only march us through the place we're allowed to go walk through.
Or they could walk us through whatever, but also just give us restrictions on what we're allowed to say and what we're not allowed to post. And
yeah, we know how to play that game.
We can be coy.
We could be coy and we can keep it secret.
Keep it safe.
Keep it safe. There's Troy Troy's in the live chat. That would be really awesome to go down there and like do a live show from down there.
It would be so cool.
And you know, even if it was unauthorized and they didn't invite us, then we should park our camera outside the fence, right outside their production
And just
studios.
do it from there and hope somebody comes out in their car and we'll just like run up to them like paparazzi.
Yes.
Hey, I'm just
Hey, what's going on in there? What's beyond that fence? Ladies and gentlemen, behind this fence is the first sound stages where they're actually filming the new Middle-earth series. And then we could poke our cameras behind little cracks in the fence and see if we can get anything.
absolutely.
That would be guerrilla filmmaking.
I would actually really love to do that. That'd
That
be
would be
fun.
kind of-
And then we could do a day in the Shire where we just set up in front of the round door of Bag End.
Yes, okay. What actor will be cast as Sauron? That was also, there you go, a very, very big question. That's coming from Mark of the Dragon from the YouTube chat. A lot of people continue to, you still want your Tom Hiddleston fix.
Which is what somebody else just said in
Yeah.
the chat. I didn't even
Yeah.
have to say it. Everyone said it for me.
Yeah, everybody wants
Although I'm still also okay with like Eddie Redmayne.
that. And Eddie
going.
Redmayne, yep. And me, I'm down for the guy who plays Klaus in the Umbrella Academy. Is that
I haven't seen Umbrella Academy.
you haven't seen the actor who
It's
plays
one of the things
Klaus
I've been meaning to watch.
in the Umbrella Academy? His name
Oh,
is
I like this. David said,
Sheehan.
"Screw the Area 51 storm. We must storm the filming of New Zealand."
Guys, hey,
Yes.
there's another big ringer we were just talking to this afternoon, and he's the man who executive produced the X-Men films and the Transformers films. His name is Tom DeSanto, and he's a big, big Lord of the Rings fan, and he said, I was thinking of you guys because Howard Shore's music just came in rotation on his satellite station he was listening to, and he said, I was just thinking of you, and he sends a message to all of the ringers out there. The guy who's behind Transformers and X-Men and Bumblebee, which was a lovely film, he says, tell the fans I say a big hello. We're doing some exciting things behind the scenes. We're doing some exciting things behind the scenes with my documentary feature film, Ringers, Lord of the Fans. And we'll be talking about that in coming weeks when we have more news about that. How about that? Chiwetel
Doug Jones of
Ejiofor?
Sauron. Okay, so if they were going to have Sauron as in like an actual monster
Okay.
of some kind, fine. I was like, but the Sauron I'm hoping we get is more of Anatar, in which case I would love the Eddie or Hiddleston or something along that lines. Troy says he wants more Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm always down for more Benedict.
Okay, yeah.
He also has coined a new term for us for our guerrilla-style reporting from New Zealand. We'll just be Occupy New Zealand.
Occupy New Zealand.
I like it.
Yeah, totally like, do it like Ed Wood style. Remember
Oh
when
my God, yes.
he would run around without a filming permit and just have to tear his cameras down and run when the police were coming? Okay, now hold on. Let's take a look at this. It is Umbrella Academy, and the actor that I'm thinking of is it's Robert Sheehan. Yes, I think Robert Sheehan would make a great Sauron. Anatar.
He's
Yeah,
he's
he would make
certainly
a-
pretty.
Yeah, he would. This guy, Robert Sheehan. Robert Sheehan. Yeah, he's worked with them before. Wasn't he in? He was in Mortal Engines. Yeah, he was one of the leads in Mortal Engines.
Ooh,
So
Leah
he's-
just made a
he's-
great point. She said Tom Ellis's character in Lucifer, so Thomas Ellis plays Lucifer, is basically the same character as Anatar.
Yeah,
It would be
there you
perfect,
go.
and he's amazing. I'm down for Tom
There you go.
Ellis. Tom Ellis is amazing.
Yep, Tom Ellis is a great actor. I personally, I know this is a scathing, controversial thing to say, especially in a room where Mark Bernardin comes to do his show with Kevin Smith right after us, but I'm not a fan of the way that the TV show Lucifer has changed its core story and everything, elements from it, from the original comic book series.
Well, that's
It's
because
just so
you were so
completely
close to the original. You were expecting
different.
something entirely different. For
Well, it
me,
is.
like I had never known any of the comics, and going into it with that, what sold me on the show was the music. The music supervision on the show is incredible. I
Yeah.
was like, in
Well,
like
that's true.
the pilot episode, me, Trina, and Kristen, my good friends of mine, were all big music people. All walked away and spent 3 days talking about the music, not the episode, the music.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
I
then we
agree with
kept
that.
watching and fell in
Yeah.
love with the show.
Yeah.
Why do you say I feel bad saying this in a room that Mark's about to walk into? Was he involved on Lucifer? Am I not aware of this?
Yeah, I'm hearing that he was involved in further seasons on Netflix.
Oh, excellent.
That's what I've been hearing.
Cool.
So So I just don't want to.
I've
I don't want to
actually-
ruffle any feathers, but
I've worked on a couple of episodes of Lucifer.
you have?
Yes,
Oh, cool. They film right down the road, right down the block here. Lucifer's piano bar, Lux, is actually the outside of the El Capitan,
Yes.
the entrance that goes down the alley. is
And
to
then
the side.
their sound stages are at Warner Brothers in Burbank.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's
Mhm.
true. It's true. But I'm such a big fan of Neil Gaiman's Sandman universe and how.
You're a big fan of Neil Gaiman, period.
But the Sandman universe is sacrosanct. Like it's never been messed with. And I was intrigued a number of years ago. We're totally now moving into like our Green Dragon gossip corner of the show.
It's all right. We divulge all the time. It's fine.
divert. But I'm just saying that there was a time when that was in development years ago with Joseph Gordon-Levitt spearheading the Dreaming,
I do
the
love him.
Sandman, and then it went into turnaround again.
Okay.
And now years and years.
Pipskate didn't even know that there was a comic book for Lucifer. You should talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the Sandman comic book has several offshoot comic book series that have come from its world and its pages, including the Books of Magic, also originally written by Neil Gaiman and liberally stolen from by J.K. Rowling. Okay, the Books of Magic, and then a side character would be Lucifer, because in the Big Sandman series, Season of Mists, Lucifer decides to quit his job as the Prince of Hell, and he closes the realm, kicks everybody out, all the spirits of the dead and all the demons, and he says, goodbye, you all get out of here. He closes the realm, empties out hell, and he locks the gates, and he turns the key, and he hands the key to the Lord of the Dreaming, Morpheus, the Dream Lord, and he says, here, I doubt this will do you any good, but I'm just trying to F with you anyways. And he hands him the key to hell and says, bye-bye, I'm retiring. And then he spends his days retired watching the sun go down on a beach in Australia. And the Dream Lord is left with the realm of hell and all the other deities and demigods from Norse mythology, Japanese mythology, Egyptian mythos.
All of them appear in Sandman?
And all of them, all the different mythologies of the world appear to,
Oh, that's really
to
fun.
the Dream Lord.
I like a lot of those mythology.
And even angels from the Silver City, and even other demons from the Triumvirate of Hell, and they come back and lay claim to the key, and the Dream Lord is stuck with this key to hell that he never wanted in the first place.
So you just wanted a show about this key and you didn't get it.
Then
It's really
but
this is what I'm picking up.
when Lucifer leaves his job, he goes and opens a piano bar in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And that side comic book series is all about the Prince of Hell, who decides he's not going to do that anymore. He's going to live his own destiny by opening up a piano bar in Los Angeles and opening up a doorway to another dimension and creating another creation. And that becomes very theological and interesting. But the TV show diverts completely from all of that stuff. And none of the things I just talked about happen in the Lucifer show at all.
It's very true. I wasn't aware of any of those things.
See, that's what I'm saying.
But I love the show. I want to address a comment
I
that
know,
somebody
I know.
has posted like 4 times in the chat room now, and we just keep getting sidetracked. But Kim is very worried that they haven't started filming, and she's hearing that they have to start filming by November. We heard by the end of this year, so that you still have a month beyond that, and that they don't have a finished script, much less the finalized cast. And what are they going to film? Well, Kim, I have some great answers for you. I was like, first of all, you don't need the finished script for the entire rest of the production crew to be working on costuming, set building, props. You probably have a concept of where they're going and what the worlds will look like for people to start doing concept art and then start creating and approving that concept art and the wardrobe into actually making what they need. I was like, and then scripts start in so many different types of rough forms and ideas and plots and outlines before they get turned into the actual dialogue and pages that literally overnight you could end up with the script and they could be filming the next week. So as far as I see it, we still have plenty of time. I wouldn't worry about that too much, and I just wanted to address that since you kept asking. Also, Cliff, I think this is a great comment.
Mads Mikkelsen as a Vigo relative. Now that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, they would be amazing.
The Danes representing probably there now. And yes, another person had asked, why don't we get some people of color in some of these casting options? We had been talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda coming to Middle Earth.
Interesting.
There's no reason why not. He would be a fantastic character.
Lin is very busy in his new HBO fantasy series.
I know
so
he is.
I'm doubting we're going to get Lin.
I just heard there was, is that the Patrick Rothfuss stories? that Lin-Manuel Miranda was making, the King Killer Chronicles?
Is that what it's
Is
based
it?
off of?
Right, I heard that was in turnaround. The King Killer Chronicles is in turnaround again. I just heard that day before yesterday. Maybe I'm wrong. Development is a very hard and tricky thing. So, yes, we did. And also,
His Dark Materials is what I'm thinking of.
it's His Dark Materials. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about something else entirely. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, His Dark Materials, which is going to be so awesome. The Golden Compass. I'm also interested in.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Who is the actor? The actor who is in Slumdog Millionaire. Who is the young actor who was also just recently in? Come on, guys, help me out.
I haven't seen Slumdog. I don't know.
You haven't? It's Dev Patel. Okay, I think Dev Patel would be wonderful as a Numenorian. I would totally be down to see Dev Patel in Middle Earth. And you know what? To be quite honest, that'd be kind of cool to see him as Anatar, as the Sauron character. But I also would think of him as being, he could be an elf as well. Dev Patel could be one of the Avari, one of the other elves. That'd be so, thank you. Yeah, I'm totally down for him. He's awesome. And who else?
Also, I believe
Lots of
Sarah,
other people
who's
come to
in the
mind.
chat room with us, went to a convention this week, and she was sending me messages where they were having a Lord of the Rings on Prime fan service, fan casting panel. They had a whole panel where it was just everybody in a room talking about who they wanted. So Sarah, like, if you're still watching, I'd love to hear what people said in that panel for their casting things.
That sounds
Everybody's
intriguing.
commenting that I look super cute today. Thank you, everybody. That's very. It's like the fourth comment. Aw, thank you.
Well, now here's the scoop. You guys can talk about whether we're going to have an early king of Numenor, like will it be Elrond's brother, Elros, who becomes Tar in miniature, the first king of Numenor, but we don't know. We have no idea if the narrative of season 1 will begin hundreds and hundreds of years further into the Second Age, and we might have a late king of Numenor. It might be early or late.
We have a
Hey.
Skype call.
Oh my
joining
gosh,
us.
it's Jed Brophy. Ladies
Hey,
and
guys.
gentlemen.
Jed.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Hello, good to see you, Jed.
See you,
Guys,
Scott.
It's Nori himself. Jed Brophy, are you and
Cliff?
of course Sharku. And
Yes.
are you gonna tell me that are you calling to tell me that somebody took a little tumble off the cliff? Because it's my name,
Yeah.
Cliff? Is that I thought you were gonna build that joke in, Jed. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Hold on a second. It's nice to have you on the show. Justin's going to connect the pictures so that everybody can see you. How are you doing? Everybody can see
I'm
you.
really good. Yeah. I'm great.
What is this? How are you feeling about this big news that everything's starting to film officially in New Zealand?
Oh, look, I think it's very apt. I think it's right. I think all of the intellectual property that happened in those films and all the work that Weta did, but also what the landscape did for the fans, they know it. They know the landscape. They know the world. I think the legacy that we created in those 6 films, it's right that it should come back here. I think it'll make the fans feel very assured, but also for our country and for our economy, it's a real bonus. It's a fantastic thing.
It is. I know that a lot of fans of Scotland were like, oh, come on, we love Scotland. And I do too, but you cannot compare the Southern Alps of the South Island to anything else on Earth. You just can't compare it. I'm sorry.
No, I know. Well, I tell you what I thought, though. I thought that northern part of Scotland would be great for the lands of the Duandane. I thought it would have been kind of that's in my head. That's what I thought that they would shoot there is, where Strider and the other Rangers train, where the Northern Kingdom might be.
Yeah. It looks and feels like there's ancient stones behind the hills everywhere up there. Yeah, it does have that feel of old Arnor. I agree.
Yeah, but having said that, Paul Byrne in the South Island is very similar to that. There is a landscape in the South Island that definitely looks like it could be that Northern Kingdom. So I'm excited for them to come here. I think it's amazing.
I'm so excited to see you, brother.
It's awesome to have you on the show.
It's a nice surprise. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Usually I'm not available because of the time difference, but today it just all worked out. It's a perfect storm.
Ah, perfect.
You
That's
gotta
perfect.
love when things sync up like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how have you been? You've been taking good care of yourself. You look very healthy. You look very good.
Yeah. Look, I live in the Kapiti Coast. I live out on the west coast by the beach, and I have a pretty relaxed lifestyle. I've just fed my Rohan horse this morning, so I said
Nice.
hello to him and made sure that he was ready. Told him the good news. He didn't really care.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think he's kind of like been there, done that. But I see him up at the gate telling stories about how Gandalf patted him once. So I reminded him that he is a part of the world.
He is.
That's awesome. We have a live chat. Everyone says hello. Everybody in the live chat says hello, Jed, and they're sending you love.
All of the exclamation marks, all the all caps. They're super excited.
There's like a bunch of holy cow. They're not expecting you here, brother. This is so good.
No.
So now,
Yeah.
here's the thing. If James Cameron is using up all the studios down there in Wellington and in Miramar, because he's doing not one, but 4, I think, bloody
Avatars?
movies about Pandora and other places around
Not
that
to mention,
world.
doesn't Taika usually film Thor down there? And he's got the new Thor movie coming out.
That's right. So now we understand there's new facilities happening up in Auckland, which is where Bruce Hopkins, our friend, lives up in that area.
Yeah, Auckland had to start building studios because, when Peter's studio was full down in Miramar, nothing else of that volume could happen. So they built a big set-up in Kumeu where they shot Mulan. There's a big water stage where they shot the Meg. So there are some big sound stages and studios up in Auckland, which is great. I think it's good for them as well. It's nice to have a balance where both cities have work coming into them. And I've got a lot of friends who live in Auckland that'll be very excited about this news. And it's only an hour on a plane or half a day on my horse. So if they need me, I can get up there.
Okay, we've got a question. We have a question from the live chat. Is it Sean Levy? Sean Lay, who says, ask Jed, how is your son who played Aragorn's son?
He's great. The future King of Gondor is fantastic. He has a great beard now. I think
Really?
he's pretty excited about the possibility of there being some work on that show. He's been practicing his sword fighting. He's been practicing his regal manner. Yeah. So yeah.
So he's ready to be cast in the new series, is what you're telling us.
No, but wouldn't it be great?
It would be great,
It
though.
would be. It would be. Are you all right? Everyone's going to ask. It's the big 800-pound gorilla in the room. Are you interested in getting involved? And would you go back to Middle Earth? And what would it be like for you? Would you like to tip
I
your toes?
love how big Jed's eyes just got of like, of course.
You want to step your toes back in the water there, right?
Absolutely. Look, I would be honoured.
my
There are
God,
lots
yes.
of things that I could imagine me doing. It's up to whether they could imagine me doing them. Personally, I'd love to be one of the people training a young Aragorn. I'd love to be an older Duandain, an older ranger, because I like riding and I like fighting. And I think
Yeah.
being able to see my own face with just a bit of beardage would be really nice.
Finally, just to see you, buddy. Yeah,
Right,
of course.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
last time I originally saw you was at Heavenly Creatures.
Yes.
Yes, that was the last time I actually saw you without all the prosthetics, right?
Yeah, it's one of the hard things when you're good at doing prosthetics, and I know that Doug Jones, we've had a small conversation about this. When you're good at doing creature work, it
I
becomes
tend to
something that
get
people want
typecasted
you
into
to
that
do.
hole, like pigeoned into it.
Yeah, so it's a tricky one because I don't like to turn down work, especially that kind of work. So if the only parts that were on offer were to play orcs again or to play a dwarf, I'd be actually pretty happy to do that. But having said that, wouldn't it be great if I could play a King of New Men or a Duandain? Wouldn't that be just fantastic for the
think it would be
world of
amazing.
Middle Earth?
Oscar Villanueva in the Facebook chat says, we know that Jed could play anyone in all
True.
caps. And and also, Mark of the Dragon is saying, I just hope that this Lord of the Rings series will not be rushed along like the Hobbit films were. Now, obviously, Jed, you were there, and much has been made about the work schedule for the 2-film structure that changed to 3 films to allow for more time for everything to be developed and worked on. We saw the appendices that were made by Michael Pellerin, and we saw all the extra discs when they were released, so we could understand what Peter and you guys were dealing with when all that happened. And that was a big, big change. But everybody needs to understand there's a huge difference, as Chelsea, you were saying before, there's a big difference between a schedule of television production versus a very different flow of motion picture production. It's a very different flow. You can attest to that too, right, Jed?
Yeah, the problem when you're making TV is that the budgets are usually a little bit smaller, although that's not the case with this particular production. I think the budget's really good, that's a bonus in terms of taking a bit more time. I hope that they look at Game of Thrones and that they look at things like True Detective and Fargo and other TV shows that are starting to shoot like film. I hope that they have a film sensibility when it comes to shooting this project, and they take the time to really get to know the characters, to build the characters and develop them in a way that makes sense of them. I was lucky enough to work on the Shannara Chronicles, and one of the things about that was I don't think they had time to develop those characters fully. Would have liked to see a bit more time taken to find out more about their backstories. So I hope with this that they treat the characters and the writing. You know, I'm a huge fan of the books. I would have watched the films if I hadn't been in them anyway. I'm a total Tolkien geek. So
welcome aboard, brother.
Yeah, me too. And so I hope that they actually pay those characters some kudos and develop them properly and don't rush them.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too.
I agree.
And that's one thing that I've loved. I think Game of Thrones really paved a big platform for this in the last 10 years that we had it, was that it allowed us to have this very immersive and expansive world building that you don't get in the cinemas because it's a one and done.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Yeah. The thing about... I'm a big fan of Terry Brooks. I've enjoyed Shannara. Did I pronounce it wrong? Is it Shannara or Shannara?
No, Shannara. Shannara's right. Yeah.
Okay. When you listen to the audiobooks are read by René Auberjonois, who's a wonderful, very talented actor. Of course, we know him from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and a slew of voiceovers he's done for Disney. René Auberjonois pronounced it Shannara. And I wonder if Mr. Terry Brooks asked him to do that or not. That might have been a mistake. But I'm a big fan of his stuff. And here we go. I just wanted to say that the music supervisor and some of the interesting anachronistic music choices for that fantasy world, I mean, it was an MTV series, right? Yeah. So that's kind of pretty cool. I thought that was a cool, interesting approach to that fantasy world. And I really liked it. Now here's the live question for you, Jed. It says, Jed, I think you should be cast as King Elendil, the king, Elendil himself. That would be a great role.
I mean, that would be, that would be the icing on a cake. I could probably give up being an actor if I got to play that part. I mean, it would be that would be a huge honor. I'm not sure.
You'll retire after that one.
I'm not being overly humble here, but I'm not
going,
sure
I
that
can
I'm
picture
worthy.
that.
That would be awesome. I got to get this picture, Jed. I got it. That is so good. That is so great. Oh, good question. In that brief shot in the prologue of Fellowship of the Ring, when they show the 9 kings who become ring wraiths, and then it quickly darkens down to black. I know that Alan Lee is one of the 9. Were you one of the 9 gentlemen standing in that shot?
No, I was far too young and pretty back in those days.
Holy.
You're still very young and pretty, Jed.
That's right. Thank you.
That is so funny. I'm tweeting about your sudden appearance on the show, which is really, really great to have you join us, Jed. Totally. Now, here's the funny thing. I'm wanting to come down there. We all want to come down there. So what we should do is make plans to come down to New Zealand. Yes. Right? We'll come and we'll get connected with Shane Rangi.
We can have Jed do the guerrilla reporting with us.
And we'll do the guerrilla reporting with you, and you can help us climb the fences. We'll get you, Jed, and Bruce Hopkins, and Shane Rangi, and some of the other stunties, some of our old friends, Jarl Benzon, our good buddies from Weta, and people I used to know in the workshop. We'll get the whole gang together, the old gang.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll do a little field trip and see if we can climb over some fences and peekaboo around the fence and see what Amazon is filming. And that's what we want to do. All right.
Yeah, I know of the secret troll tunnels from Shannara that were dug underneath the fences there, so we'll be able to get in, no worries.
Oh, perfect.
I know some peeps.
And not just the troll tunnels, but like there's probably some dwarf caves and things and mines that we could go through, right?
The problem was that we delved too deep.
Too greedily and too deep.
Too
No.
deep.
Okay.
That's right.
What about let's talk about something else that we frequently talk about. What about giving an injection of other cultures in Middle-earth? Because the Numenorians were famous mariners, and they went and explored many nations and cultures and peoples of Middle-earth, places that never come into the Third Age. So we're talking about an infusion of people of color and cultures that are very different from the more Northern European construct, which is fairly represented all the time in the bulk of the Third Age, because it concerns issues of the North. And it's like we get to see some of these other places. This is going to be an amazing new approach and a new bandwidth for Middle-earth to be seen this way. It's going to be great.
It's going to broaden what we know of the world and the canon and the lore.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really, really exciting. There's a lot of people who said, they shouldn't be doing it. But actually, if the Tolkien estate is cool with it, and it seems that they are, they've given their blessing, I'm really excited to see what they do with it. I think it's only a positive thing. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned.
I want to keep getting into this world as often as we can get into it. There's so many stories that have never been explored, even with stories that everyone thinks have been explored, like the fact that we never got Tom Bombadil. Like, there's so many things. Yeah, I was like,
where does he even come from? Is he a Maya? Is he, he's ancient. He's been there longer than anyone. But
totally.
What race is he?
And it would be an amazing, even like Easter egg to tie that into, like maybe towards the end of the series, you see the existence of Tom or something like that. I mean, there's so many stories that I really want to play out, including like going even deeper, like First Age. Like we know this is Second Age, but there's a lot of amazing stories on the First Age I'd love to dive into.
I'm telling you, here's where I'm worried. All right, you're a big Ringer fan as well, Jed, as I am. And I think that they're going to start messing around and doing some anachronistic choices where maybe the wizards are going to show up in the Second Age, and they're not supposed to because they are Maiar, and they don't come to the shores of Middle-earth till middle of the Third Age, to be honest.
That's right.
I get a funny feeling that if they start to tinker with it, it's the way a Shakespearean classicist would think. You cannot play fast and loose with Shakespeare too much. If you go too far with it, you lose those identifiers that make it what really is. So if you're going to play fast and loose with Middle-earth, I wonder if they're going to start doing things like crisscrossing timelines and introducing events that will alter, or people that will alter the real chronology.
I also feel like you're saying that like they've never done that at this point, which they have done that. Tariel is a perfect example.
Well, yeah. Well, Tariel was a character cut from whole cloth. But it's not like she couldn't have existed in Thranduil's realm.
And it's also to say, like, I mean, yes, the majority of the wizards do not show up till later, but what's to say that there wasn't one rogue wizard that hid somewhere that, was hiding in the ships and coming onto the shore, then disguised themselves as an elf the way that Anatar is disguised. You never know. They could play with it like that.
They could. See? Not clever. Clever girl.
I'm not saying I want them to, but they could do that.
I see what you're saying. I think
Little Miss Raptor here is clever. That's very clever. Yeah. It could be. You never know. What do you think, Jed?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see the possibility of seeing the dwarves being put to sleep, or the dwarves waking up.
Yes, that's something I'd really
the enmity
love.
between the dwarves and the elves, where that comes in. But what's happened here?
Oh, we can still hear you and see you fine.
Lost you.
We hear you.
Lost
fine.
you here.
We see you.
Oh no.
What's happened?
We may have lost Jed.
Hey, we'll call you back. Reconnect. Okay. We'll call him back. He's going to come back onto the show just a second. That was a pretty good call. Okay, I'll let our producer, Justin, grab that. That's very nice of Mr. Jed Brophy to come in and surprise us. What an excellent injection of
that was an amazing surprise.
fun and energy from way down in the land of the long white cloud, New Zealand.
We are in the final 9 minutes of our show.
Are we in the final
Yes,
9
we
minutes?
Justin's attempting to get Jed back on the line. Oh, it looks like we might have lost
This is
Jed.
also true.
All right.
Kim Rudolph in the Facebook chat says, surely the Tolkien estate would not allow playing fast and loose with Canon. They have script approval. Yes, they do.
They do.
They do. So, we hope that is the safety mechanism that stops it from going too much and too crazy.
I'm excited to just see all the stories that we haven't seen yet. That, and I've mentioned it before, of there were dragons in this time, and I'd like to see how dragons play into these things.
More dragons.
More dragons.
There were other unidentified dragons from the north.
Troy says maybe we'll see some legendary female dwarves. That would be amazing. I know legally it cannot be at the moment, but Jed would be great as one of the blue wizards. There you go. Some great comments going on in the chat room today. Also, gossip from the Green Dragon. We've got 7 minutes before the show is done for the day, and we have to set up for
Is
Kevin.
it really how time flies?
It's really how
When you're
time
having-
flies when you're having fun.
Oh my God, that is so great. Mr. Jed Brophy, Nori himself. Yeah, I would love to see him in a role as a Numenorian king without him having to be buried under like all the stuff. That'd be so cool.
Lord of the
It
Rings,
certainly
the
does.
musical episode. Ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
You know what? If it was music that was like Middle Earth style music.
Yeah, if it was like elven music, maybe.
Really?
Yeah. that-
Elven and Dwarven songs? Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be
totally.
cool.
Drinking pub songs, those could be fun.
There's a wonderful music moment for Aughra in the
Yes.
Dark Crystal.
One of my favorite moments in that.
Yes, isn't that great? See,
Yes.
so there's a way for it to be music in the world, and not anachronistic music. But
So.
oh gosh.
All right, so now that we're coming to the end of the show, let's do some housekeeping and some event stuff. But like,
Oh my gosh.
we didn't
event
even
stuff.
talk about that this week alone is the anniversary of the Hobbit book. And more
It is?
importantly,
Yes, it is.
Bilbo's birthday is also coming up, which means it's time for our annual Bilbo Baggins birthday bash.
It is the biggest celebration on the West Coast. For everybody in the state of California, this is it. We celebrate the anniversary of the publishing of The Hobbit from 1937, as well as huge outdoor public free for the families, free for all of you people to come and join us.
And everybody brings food, and I have a lot of dietary restrictions, and there's always something I can eat because people will bring fresh vegetables, but there's also pies and ice cream. People will make vegan, like what are those pot pies last year? That somebody made
Oh,
vegan
yes.
pot pies.
There's
People make limbus bread. There's
baked goods like you wouldn't believe, and there's the potluck. It's everything and everybody, and it's free, and it's in Griffith Park, and we have all the information on our webpage
and on the Facebook.
and on our, all
It starts at noon on Sunday.
yes.
So please come and join us. I will be there for the first couple of hours, and then I have to come run an event here. But I'm excited. It's my favorite part of every year.
It is literally in Griffith Park at Mineral Wells picnic area. There are many different places to go in Griffith Park because it is the largest municipal park in North America, I believe, belonging to a city. It covers acres and acres and acres of land and large mountains, small mountains for us Southern Californians. And the LA Zoo is there. Actually, the Los Angeles Zoo, the Gene Autry Museum of the American West, where I used to work. The Museum of the American West is there, and there's horse trails and horseback riding.
They've got Shakespeare in the park. They've got so
Yeah.
many things. It's an amazing park.
And if you find it, it's such a huge place. You'd be like, where are the Bilbo Baggins people celebrating the Hobbity birthday?
And
the
we
answer
have
is
all of that information on the website and on
yes.
the Facebook.
The answer is Mineral Wells. You can actually look on Google Maps, Mineral Wells.
You can actually type it into your GPS on
Yes.
like Waze. You can write Mineral Wells Spring, Griffith
Yeah.
Park, and it'll
Yeah.
take you right there.
You think you're going to type mineral water, but you type Mineral Wells picnic area, and you'll find it.
Yes.
Just like that. And it's really lovely because it's free and it's popular.
It's
we're gonna have
super
a wonderful
fun.
day. We play
And
lawn games.
people dress up. People bring LARP weapons, and you can learn how to sword fight. Like, there's all sorts of fun stuff that happens.
Some people break the rules and bring their original homemade microbrew from the Shire.
There's-
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't be publicly
We
saying
shouldn't
that.
be
but
saying
yes.
that, but hey, Hobbits will be hobbits. So, you know.
Other things that happened in this week, Cliff, I wanted to say first, on Sunday, I had another one of my Disneyland scavenger hunts.
Yeah, that
and
was a successful event,
we
wasn't
had
it?
our largest hunt yet, 222 people.
Oh my gosh.
Organized on my Disneyland hunt for Disney Observer, that Disney Observer's an Instagram account that I run. It was a really incredible weekend. And speaking of Disney, Sean just asked in the chat room, they said, Chelsea, you really like Disney. What do you think of Disney canceling the Muppets? The only news I've heard of is two things. One, they are getting rid of the Muppets inside Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom and Liberty Square, which breaks my heart. I loved that little activation where they just pop up in the windows. Not shocking news. They've always treated the Muppets poorly. But two, there still is a Muppet series coming to Disney Plus. So they're not canceling the Muppets. They're doing a Muppet short series. So it'll be a series of shorts that will launch at some point next year on Disney Plus.
I'm so down for that. And believe me, the Jim Henson Company is not down or out. They have been celebrated to the rafters because of the huge wave of response from fans online. Oh my God, fans responding to the new series, Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. It has been overwhelming how it has captured the imagination of other fandoms, and a lot of us just deeply. This is a big surprise because it's going to elevate the usefulness, the actual utility of live-action puppetry in a lot of other shows and TV things that we don't even know yet. But believe me, it's going to elevate the work to another high level. It's fantastic. And they really did. They played the game as well as they played it. So many good things are happening. And it is an abject lesson to any big streaming service who's looking at, if we're going to throw money at a beloved fantasy franchise and breathe life into it, well, that's how you do it. If anyone wants to know, follow that example that Netflix did with Age of Resistance.
Absolutely.
Then you'll see that is a pattern of success. It is fidelity to the characters and fidelity to the original world and the story without mucking
and like
mucking
we were
about
talking
with
about with Jed,
you know what I mean? It was really
having
pure.
this as a series was very expansive world building again. I was like, this really dove you deep into Thra visually and in the mythos, and it was great.
Yes.
So
yeah,
good.
Super good. Yeah, exactly. So I'm very excited about more Muppets coming with that short series on Disney Plus. It is an ongoing conversation we'll be having with everyone as Disney starts to pull all of its content off of Netflix, as you mentioned on your Facebook post.
Oh, yes.
And everywhere else, everything is migrating over now.
There's 3 big streaming services that are launching in the next 7 to 8 months. You've got Disney Plus, a couple months later, HBO Max, couple months later, Peacock, which is NBC's streaming service. And we don't have the full details about exactly what's being removed from where and when, but we do know that Friends is being removed to go to HBO Max.
Right.
We do know that Parks and Rec and The Office, which were 2 of the most streamed shows on Netflix for the last 2 years, are going to NBC and leaving Netflix. We know all of the Disney content is coming off of Netflix as well. And there's too many services, too many subscriptions. I feel like the cable bill used to be like $80 to $100. I haven't paid for cable in like 15 years, so if it's more than that now, I apologize. And then I was super excited when I got Netflix and Hulu because I was like, I went from like this $100 bill to $20 a month. And now if I want to watch all the shows I've been comfortably watching on Netflix for the last several years, or Hulu, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine's going to NBC,
Yes.
I'm going to have to pay for 14 streaming services, and I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it at all.
That's what I don't want to be caught up in either. I want to buy just a couple that I really want to see. I mean, certainly it's going to be Netflix has earned my eternal loyalty with the success of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and the Lucifer fans are very happy that that's there.
I am so happy.
I'm also really, really happy with Black Mirror, with Love, Death, and Robots, with She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Right.
All these things that Netflix has been throwing at us, for me,
I love Grace and Frankie.
it's been delicious. It's been really good stuff. Really good stuff. But I'm just saying, and Amazon has the joy of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which has been great.
Yes.
That's been a great
Justin
great
is yelling
show.
from the background that we've got to wrap it up.
We
It's
gotta wrap
past
it up.
6
How
o'clock.
can we wrap it up?
So I'm
All right,
just
we
going
gotta
to
wrap it
say
up.
it's been great talking to all of you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to continue the conversation, follow me at Uncool Rockstar. We can talk about streaming services or Disney or Tolkien or whatever for days on end. And you can follow Cliff at QuickBeam2000.
That's right. I'm at QuickBeam2000 on Twitter and on Instagram.
And otherwise, please follow, like, share, subscribe, theonering.net, and keep up with us. And we'll see you. I won't see you next week, but you'll see Cliff.
Hold on. What's that Justin saying? Oh, yeah, and follow Jed Brophy. He's at Brophy Jed. On Twitter, he is Brophy Jed. And I want to say very, very big thank you to this very talented veteran actor of the 6 Middle-earth films and a good friend of the Ringer community worldwide, Jed Brophy. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
Chelsea and I loved having you on the show,
And
man.
thank you, Cliff.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you, love. It's so great to geek out with you again.
Absolutely.
You guys, we're going to see you next week right here on theonering.net, again at 5 o'clock. Until then, be good to yourselves. We will see all of you in Southern California at the Baggins Birthday Bash in Griffith Park. Until next week, buenas noches y buena suerte.